Still June 23rd, 24. You know, when I was in Walmart on the strip today, outside some guy kept walking by and said they think that Karen's well stupid. They do. Okay. And when I went in, there was a guy talking to some guy in another language. He said, I listened to everything that was wrong with her. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? That's where they say it's no doubt. It was the medication making her sick before. I heard everything that was wrong with her. Okay? And I heard what was happening. No wonder she called them. Okay? I told that family, none of this is funny. Oh, they said they were hurt. No, they weren't hurt. They were blowing smoke up your ass. It had nothing to do with them. They were using their family's tragedy to manipulate people. They weren't one bit hurt because Strange called me a faker 6 months later. And then wait 15 years to hunt somebody down, drug beat, and rape them. Come on, you're not that stupid. They're blowing smoke up your ass. Just like it was supposed to be Katie saying I was mean to her and I hadn't talked to her in years. And the most I said was hi to her like twice in the mall. She was making up crazy crap in 2010 and in 2011. I hadn't, same thing. Hadn't said hi to her but like twice in the mall. And when people found out, they thought they were dying laughing. And her mom making up that she hated me and I hadn't seen her in 8 years. They were all blowing smoke up your ass. There was no harassment filed, no charges, no court hearing. It was all mean gossip and hearsay. She's just lying. I told you, in 2010, 2011, I was going to Blaylock's. People started making up crazy stories. Okay? And, I went over in 2011. I haven't been there since 2003. Went over to that church twice with Dave. Some lady walked up and said, I heard you got into it with Katie. I said, I haven't seen Katie. I haven't said it, but hi to Katie twice in the mall with Dave. Is that what's going on? It started laughing. Okay? People are making up more crazy stories. I go over to Frances Cowgill. She lived on Ava Street. Okay? I've known her for years. I'm like, Frances, go for a walk with me. Why are these people making up crazy stories? She's like, well, Mary hates you. That's Katie's mom. I said, how could she hate me? I haven't seen her in 8 years. She started laughing. Stopped dead in her tracks like this and smiled like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Is that what's going on? I said, what's going on? You don't know? No, what? Never mind. Start laughing. I about died when people came up to me at Blaylock's. I heard you caught Katie and Dave in bed and you chased her around the house with a knife and down the street. I would have went to jail if that would have happened. Never happened. I taped Dave admitting there was no one in my house before. He was just being me. It's like I never seen anybody. It's like, Karen, there was no one. She made it all up for people's attention. That's where even an old lady came up to me. I heard your husband left you. I said, my husband didn't leave me. I heard you're in denial. I said, ma'am, he goes to work and comes home every night. It's 2011. Okay? And she's arguing with me. I heard you won't accept it. I said, ma'am, he goes to work every day, comes home every night. I'm still washing his clothes and underwear. I won't stop washing his clothes. Started mocking her back. She's like, I heard you're in denial. I'm working at Woodforest in 2011. She sees Dave talking to me. She comes up and said, I'm so glad you came back to Karen. He said, I never left Karen. I said, Dave, that was one of the lies. He said, ma'am, I never left her. I said, ma'am, I tried to tell you everything you heard was a lie. And she said, what? I said, everything you've heard is a lie. She's like, I don't care who you are in that church. You can't lie like this. Okay? That's why I call him the Pinocchio girl. I went down to Blaylock's. Jim Pritchett came up to me. I work with Brother English all day long. I hear how you're drunk, you're drugs, you're wild and crazy. Come to church and you're fine. I said, I haven't seen him in 8 years. They're sitting around making up bullshit on somebody they didn't see. Okay? See, I was stocking shelves at Walmart at midnight, and I watched Danny's Kids in the afternoon. And people are making up crazy crap. It's like, look, I'm lucky to find time to bathe and sleep. They try to tell people that we watch porn laying around, gross stuff. It's like, ew, that never happened. You're drunk and you're drugs in the front yard wearing a bikini. I was 200 pounds. Nobody wants to see that in a bikini. Didn't own a bikini. Even Terry Coverly, if you ask her about the bikini, she would start laughing. It wasn't for that darn bikini. It's like, there's no bikini. She had the best giggle at that. And it's like, I don't even have cable. I have an antenna, and we have Stuart Little 2 plays all the time. Dave's like, we have a rated G house. We have little ones here. We didn't even own cable. I told Danny about the crap they were saying. And he's like, Karen, Mom, I tell you what. I would have looked at him and said, you ruined my marriage. What'd you expect me to do? I'm like, Danny, it's not true. He said, I teach him for life. I told Barb, my sister-in-law, she said, Karen, I would ask him, what were you doing looking? I said, it's not true. She said, I teach those people for life. I told my mom, she's like, Karen, they wouldn't know what was going on in your home. They're just making shit up. Or making stuff up. Okay? So my mom don't swear. You know what's something? I didn't even, because we had little ones. And I started going back to that church. I hadn't swore since like 2007 to 2018. Gunshot night, mass murder. Next day I bring it out of you. I didn't even swear for 11 years. I said fudgesicle, doggone it, and darn. I had little ones that could repeat. Oh, and my grandson Gabe, he came with Jen when he was 4, and his real dad taught him to swear and thought it was funny. So trying to get that little 4-year-old not to call people big dirty words was hard. Okay. That's where in 2011 we walk into Macy's. And people even came up and would say, I heard you left Karen for Katie. He's like, I didn't leave her. We would go to walk in the mall, and I'm like, Dave, are you cheating on me with that girl? He said, Karen, she's pathetic. Making up all these stories for people's attention. As if a married man would leave his wife for her. She's pathetic making up all those stories. I looked at him, I said, Dave, are you cheating? He said, Karen, now we're in Macy's by the purses. I'd rather kiss a cow's butt than that fat, ugly heifer. Well, I giggled at his mean joke. He's trying to defuse me questioning. Can she hear down at Ashcroft and Oak what he said and I dare giggle? No. The only way she would ever find out is he went and told her he made a mean joke and I laughed to stir the pot. So I made him walk on the other side of the kiosk. So she couldn't say we said anything. And if we didn't get over, it's like, don't say a word till we pass her store. Because she's cray-cray. I heard it was Precious, and they were crying that I was mean to her again. Didn't talk to her for years. The most I ever said was hi in the mall. Twice with Dave. Maybe 3 times tops. Avoided that whole store. Dave came home one night in 2011 from church. I watched Danny's Kids on Sunday night. And they would go home about 9-10 o'clock. And I'm watching TV, and we had a canopy bed him and Joshie built for us. And I'm watching TV, he comes in and gets undressed, crawls across. And he lays down and then he starts making love to me. Then he's like, I can't stay interested. I roll on my stomach and I start crying. He jumps on my back and he holds me down with one arm. And he starts butt raping me. And I'm screaming into the pillow, rivers of tears, God, stop. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs for him to stop. And he starts punching me in my back and head. I finally break loose from him. I run downstairs at Lennox into the bathroom. And I'm bleeding onto the shower on the floor. And it took a long time to get the blood to stop. I go up with rivers of tears. Why? You'll learn to keep your filthy mouth shut. I said, Danny, just pick up the kids. I've been watching TV waiting for you to get home. He looked at me. I said, what are you talking about? Rivers of tears. He got mad enough. He quit his church within a month. Would go to church, making up excuses. He's sick and come on. And he quit his church, and that's why we went up to Pampers. Because he came home and sexually assaulted and beat me. Because I'm alive. He was good to me for years after that. Okay. I heard it was Precious and they're lying again. I heard she told people too she was poor. She inherited the farm from Mark, her dead husband. She has a dairy farm. I dated a guy for a little bit that had sold cows. Each adult cow is worth $50,000 to $80,000. She has 50 cows for the dairy farm. That's $2.5 million. Without the barn, the equipment, the sale of the milk with brand new calves are $5,000 each. Without the land, the crops, without the money she inherited from Mark, and without her house. I wish I was that poor. Because if she has 100 cows, that's $5 million. I'll tell you what, if I had that many cows, the meat market would be full of steaks, and I'd retire. I'd just sell them. And retire. She sits in that jewelry store while her sister Beth and her brother-in-law Mike runs it. He's rich too. His father got killed at work when he was a child, and they settled with the company, and they put it in a fund until he was like 21 or 25, and that's that and grew money. They said he'd never have to work. Get it? They're all rich. Now, I want you to think, now I had the 4 attempts on my life. The lady impersonating cost me that job. The guy shows up and threatens to knife me. It's the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me. The other what a shame guy. And we had an attempted break-in, knowing what the security system was. I followed him around it, then attempted kidnapping, then attempted carjacking. And then after we were up there for 6 days, somebody kicked in my door of the wall, and that's when they're supposed to set up their stalking cameras. And then by the next week, I'm almost passing out in the front yard in front of the neighbor, and I got bruises all over me, and I've been throwing up and heart racing through my neck and hair. I've been drug beat and raped in my own home, and it kept happening all summer long, and I thought the well water was killing me just washing in it. I never seen her talk to anybody. I come in from working out in the yard, be fine, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink, and going to the bathroom, wash my hands better. It was a 2-liter Diet Coke or coffee with cream, an equal. Sit down and take a drink in the room and go dizzy and black, or wake up with marks that look like injection marks, and the same thing, severe personal infection until I can't hardly pee, and the well water's so dirty I thought washing in it was infecting my private area, and I thought it was actually giving me cancer where I had the big bruises and throwing up and the headache and the muscle pain. And here they're treating me at Altman Family Physicians for all the signs of being drug, beat, and raped, and not thinking of rapist. Okay? And then, Dave bragging September 3rd to 6th, that him and Jack had this plan since March. That's Savannah's dad. Okay? And then they have somebody impersonate me, cost me my job at Advanced America. Then the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, shows back up and threatens to knife me. Another guy, what a shame to me. Katie's leaving threats in the mall that to more than 3 people the 4 times of my life were them. I have Dave taped of knowing it. Okay? And then where I didn't hang up on Terry's phone call, she still don't know I know. Because I needed a witness for the attempted kidnapping. Of the church was taking up $25,000. It was Keith Bishop's stranger Ron. Because he's just a murderer, trying to make up a pathetic excuse to kill somebody. Because the strangest lie. Strangest lie is nothing but a lie, mean gossip, and hearsay. Because like the doctor said, there was a medication error. Medical malpractice, it almost killed me. Okay? And Dave bragging that his girlfriend was rich and powerful and her family owned the place. He didn't want me calling the police. My whole family knew they were threatening my life. All of them knew. Okay? I was talking to my sister Pam about all this, and she told me, she said, Karen, I want you to call the FBI. You call the FBI, you hear me, and you report Dave and those churches for threatening your life. They'll take care of him. You hear me, you call them. And she kept encouraging me to call them. That's why I called the hotline. Because she kept telling me to. And after Dave threatened, or Dave bragged that his girlfriend was rich and powerful and her family owned the place, I took a day and prayed. Pour my heart out to God. Realizing it was the grace of God that I was still alive. Now they're here and they're bragging to everyone it's them. So then I called the FBI hotline. We'll have an agent call you back. The next day, the phone's ringing and they had drugged me up again so bad. I couldn't hardly wake up and I had rivers of tears running down my face. I kept wiping them. I kept saying, I can't. Falling back to sleep. Let it go to voicemail. I was so drugged up, I was holding onto the wall, staggered. To the bathroom, then staggering to the refrigerator. Got back in bed, listened to voicemail. This is agent. Call me back. I can't. Fall back to sleep. I kept wiping tears. Second day, I'm not much better. Third day, I'm sitting on the front porch. I'm holding my head. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I feel drunk and I don't drink. It's a sign of a date rape drug wearing off. Okay? Got enough air in my face, I called one of my witnesses that I gave the hotline. Called Sarah, I'm like, will you witness for me? Of course, Karen, it's getting darker and scarier, the way she's talking about it. So I went out and got a card, and I put that agent's number from the voicemail in it. Made an excuse to go to the mall. Dropped off the card and gave it to her manager. Went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Paymer got into his face. My God. I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off real quick. How dare you bring the FBI up here with threats on her life? Women walk up. He knows she's being drugged, being raped. And he said he didn't care. I had lost 18 pounds, covered in orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises everywhere. Migraine headache, severe personal infection till I couldn't hardly breathe. Where I thought it was a well water. My heart sinking in my stomach. Is that what's going on? I go in and I sit down. They follow me and sit down behind me. He knows she's being drugged, being raped. He said he didn't care if she was going to be fake and she was sick. and thinking she got well while that family was grieving. The ones that are blowing smoke up your ass. It's 15 years later. It was Strange's mean lie, and only his mean lie. Had nothing to do with them. And they're using their family's tragedy to kill people. He didn't care what happened to her. That a cop doesn't care a woman's being drug beat and raped. That federal cop on top of it. And if she was going to be mean to their women, he didn't care what happened to her. And he was going to turn her back over to him. He had no plans of ever helping me. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go. You called the FBI on me, I had to kill you myself. And he starts punching me in the truck and hitting me. He goes for a loaded gun. I put my hand on the console, he knocks it off. And keeps hitting me. And I almost jumped out on the highway and he's swerving all over the road. When we got home, I ran from him. Okay? The next day, I called that agent back. I tell him someone told him. He calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He said, you liar. He's a serial killer. He let him go. I said, he said, was there a camera above the bench? I don't know. You say you're a liar and I'll arrest you. I'm like, what? I said, well, you tried to kidnap me before. I almost went to say Terry Coberly seen him. She let me tape her with her permission. Okay? Sorry, my hand's cramping. I went to say Terry seen him when he said, oh, come on now. Even if a church person seen him, they wouldn't verify it. I've met with that family in my office that lost their kid in a traffic accident. The one her father killed their kid in front of a bunch of people. The one that murdered her son and her father did. Showing off, speeding, ran a stop sign into a semi in front of people. The one that killed himself and his grandson in front of people. That guy. Those are that family. That's using their family tragedy to hurt people. Those people. That's just blowing smoke up your ass. 15 years later. Have nothing to even do with them. Think about this. I've met with that family in my office and all those church people, and I know that they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick before. It's like I really was sick. I almost died. It was documented medical malpractice, documented medication errors almost killed me. Okay? I said I really was sick before. He's like, was there a camera above that bench or not? I don't know. Because he already met what? He had that family in my office, and I met with all those church people. And I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. That's what he said. He admitted. He told on me on a recorded line. Some lady is up in Akron, and we found that recorded line. That agent did admit to telling on her, and he did talk to her like this. Okay? Alright. Was there a camera above that bench or not? I don't know. You say you're lying, I'll arrest you. I'll put you in jail if you don't say it. And it's like, fine, whatever. Ha, 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 ha. Now, I want you to say you were faking you were sick before. Well, that's ridiculous. I almost died. I said I really was sick before. And he does that. I had that family in my office. I met with all those church people. And I know they were trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. Strange's lie from 15 years before. Had nothing to do with those people. 6 months later after a traffic accident, had nothing to do with. Strange makes up a shitty lie. Gets rid of me real quick because he thought I had caught his son in adultery. Just get rid of me. And the Vegas latched onto it and wanted attention, and people worship him like a god. So he just used it to manipulate people. Just to cover up his son's adultery with Katie. Now, and I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. You need to realize what you've done. I don't blame him for trying to kill you. He's aiding and abetting murder. Conspiracy to commit murder. Rape. Human trafficking. Start thinking what that agent said. It's really not funny. And it's like I really was like, you either say it or I'll leave you there. You say you're faking or I'll leave you there. But they'll try to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. You either say it or I will leave you there. And I start begging this bastard for my life. Now say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, just don't let him kill me. Why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, they're going to try to kill me, so. It's a sworn duty. They've tried to kill me, so. The other agent yells out about the scam of Pete, the shower scene in the other room. Well, we could always use Pete's tape a word with yourself, the shower scene of washing in the other room. I don't even know who Pete is. The only Pete I know is my brother Medina. I said, what is he talking about? Then he says something else about Pete, where I had all those bruises. I was throwing up and heart racing, where they were drugging the hell and beating, raping me. They were drugging me up so bad, I guess they were telling me to say stuff, and I never seen her talk to anybody. They're making fun of me for my rapist on a recorded line. And I said, what are you talking about? Stop, she don't know. I didn't know jack shit, and apparently neither did you. Bet you're going to say you didn't know anything about this doctor selling your information. Found out it's just some guy saying he's a doctor. Altman Hospital, December 30th, 23. My God, nobody's to talk to these people. They had some guy impersonate a doctor from Altman Hospital selling people's information. And nobody's going to back those doctors from before. My God, they were all lying. Ripping off her insurance. And they were lying so bad. They said she had brain tumors and there was nothing wrong with her, but her muscles locked up. And it was a medication making her sick, and nobody's going to ever back somebody making somebody sick. And lying. And ripping them off. Cops walk by, all those doctors were lying before? Yes. It's a medication making her sick. No, none of this is funny. Get the idea? It's just some guy. I said, what are you talking about? And I had some lady start using my insurance within 2 years of us getting married. And we got all these crazy bills. She stayed in hospitals, got procedures done. And I kept reporting insurance fraud. We couldn't prove it wasn't me because you didn't have to show ID back then. We got stuck with the copays. It paid for almost everything, but we got stuck with quite a few copays. You just had to call in your insurance back then. It was probably one of Dave's girlfriends. Found out she had 2 little girls. Argued with the hospital. We want to talk about your stay here. I said, I haven't stayed at your hospital. We have 2 little girls. It's like, look, I have 3 stinky boys. That wasn't me. Still got stuck with the copay. Alright, get the idea. Alright, so then he is like, give me a real reason. Well, I tell him about my brother-in-law, Craig. And then he's like, first of all, have you talked to any law enforcement? I said, the only law enforcement I talked to were 2 silly officers. August 8th of 18, there was a light in the security system. At midnight, they came out and said, ma'am, it looks like an alien orb or an angry spirit. And he started laughing. You're kidding, right? And I said, no, who talks like that? I said it was like 80 degrees. I thought they were dehydrated. So I offered him water. He started laughing. You're kidding, right? I said, no. I kept offering it to him. I thought they were dehydrated because those talks like that. And then they told me to buy a big dog, open the door, and let the dog handle it. They didn't want bothered out here. You're kidding. And I said, no. I said, matter of fact, I've never even had my neighbors in my home. I've only had installation guys and repair guys in my family. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that what's going on? Then he offers to take me somewhere and leave me with no money. I have no money to start. Okay? Then he offers me an informant program of $5,000 a month if I agreed to get information on Dave and the churches. Well, Katie's breaking to 3 people in the mall that had been her church with the 4 attempts on my life, that it was them. I thought, well, I'll last a few weeks and I'll be set for life. I can do that. Okay? He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again, and only for you and only for you. Would we ever do this for? We'll always put it back as if it never happened. And you can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. Okay? Admit to no wrongdoing. And I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone else you're crazy, no one will help you. 14th Amendment, you can't withhold protection. And you can't list somebody crazy. You can't steal somebody's money. It has to be found guilty for something and then due process of the law. It's 14th Amendment Constitution. I told my friend that worked at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, laughed till I cried. He said the only thing legal that agent did was list you an informant with money immunity. You get money for working the case and only for working the case. Due to the First Amendment and the Constitution, freedom of speech, it takes a judge to put a gag order on you. He's only a higher police officer. He doesn't even have that kind of authority. And the police know they can't go along with it. And the police also know that he can't bully you into false statements. And I talked to a criminal attorney and police officer there, and they want to know why our local police haven't arrested him. There's badgering laws. And the First Amendment, it takes, that's what a criminal attorney and police officer is the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. It takes a judge and a jury trial to put a gag order on you. He's only a higher police officer. I told him, even a criminal attorney, he can't talk to you that way. He can't bully you into false statements. He can't threaten you if you tell someone. You can tell whoever you want. Even a criminal attorney, police officer, prosecutor's office. He's only bullying you for them to get away with this. He's been blowing smoke up everybody's ass. That's where I was saying Walmart on the Strip today. No, I want you to finish listening to the story, okay? See, the next day, a lot of things happened the day after I called the FBI. I mean, after I talked to that agent, a lot of things happened. And he tries to use the excuse that I talked to my sister. Even though he confessed, like they said in the Strip, he already confessed he told the owner. And he's trying to use the excuse she talked to her sister. He can't do that. No, he can't. See, the informant case started that day. The next morning, I got up, if they pull the first day of the case, okay, or the second, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to call Dixie, make sure she stays out of this. I called Dixie, and I'm like, Dixie, I need you to stay out of this. Karen, I'm scared for you. I said, I'm scared too, but no matter what, I want you to stay out of this. I hear the word kill it. The security system went off. Beep, beep. I'm like, Dixie, stay out of this. No matter what, you promise me you stay out of this. And I could hear footsteps coming close to my door, and I thought, I'm dead in a second. I'm dead. Dixie, no matter what, you promise me you stay out of this. She's like, Karen, but they're threatening your life. I'm scared for you. I said, I'm scared too, but you promise me you'll stay out of this. And she's like, but Karen, I'm scared for you. They're threatening your life. I'm scared too. I know they're threatening my life. Karen. And I said, Dixie, promise me, no matter what, you stay out of this. You hear me. And all of a sudden I hear, men, that's not what's going on. Everyone out. And I hear footsteps at the race. And I'm like, Dixie, stay out. I tell them what you told them. They broke in, they killed me. And they heard crying over the threats on my life. It's the only thing that saved me. I waited a few hours and I called my sister Pam. Okay? And she's had told me before I called the FBI hotline, Karen, you gotta call the FBI. Dave, and those churches cannot have people threaten your life. The FBI will take care of them. They can't do this. And that's the reason I called the FBI. Because Pam kept encouraging and telling me you have to. I called my sister Pam. She's like, did you call the FBI? You'd call and tell them on Dave and those churches. You hear me? I said, Pam, they're crazy. One's already told on me. The men on the other side of the duplex had a copy of my phone before I called the FBI. If that agent would have let me talk, I would have told them about it. They were outside. Now, agents and officers have to have a degree, a criminal law degree. These people didn't know what ESOP was. It's a child's book. So many things were happening. I was keeping notes under me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Bang, time, date, in between words. And when I was 10, I moved from New York to Ohio. And I was telling all the kids in Ohio what it was like in New York. Well, we learned about Aesop the writer, not the little kiddie books, you know, that you read, like The Tortoise and the Hare and all that stuff. We actually learned about the writer that wrote the children's books. And this one kid said, well, you're like Aesop. You're telling tales of another land. And so they called me Aesop in 5th grade. So I threw the word Aesop in between all the words. They were outside. What's Aesop? I thought, a child's book, dumbass. Or idiot, or something like that, because I didn't swear back then. I didn't start swearing until after the gunshot night in Christmas of 18. I hadn't sworn in 11 years. Okay? They didn't know what Aesop was. Okay? I called my sister, and she's like, Karen, did you call the FBI on those Dave and those churches? She had been drilling me for a while to do it. And I said, Pam, it's crazy. One's already told on me. And then the other ones have a copy of my phone and they're mocking me. It's crazy. I'd have to get a prepaid phone and call you at work. They're all crazy. And she's like, what? I said, never mind. Stay out of this. Okay? In 21, I went down to Illinois. I was talking to her. I said, well, you know, I called the FBI on Dave and the churches. She's like, when'd you do that? I went 18. She's like, I didn't realize it. And he's trying to use the excuse of me trying to say that he told on me. See what I mean? And she didn't understand. Like the guy said in Walmart on the strip, that Karen's was trying to say she called her sister. He can't do that. We already got the tape of him confessing that he told on her before. You don't even have that kind of authority. Like the criminal attorney, the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, and the police out of this area. He's only hired a police officer. It takes a judge to put a gag order on you. Constitutional rights, freedom of speech, First Amendment. Like the prosecutor's office said, he only bullied you so they get away with this. He's just bullying you. Even a criminal attorney, he was only bullying you. He can't even ask you to stay quiet. And Dave can't hire Peter or anybody to watch you. And he can't take your money. You get the money for working the case and only for working the case. And he can't withhold it. So do the police out of this area, and they want to know why our police haven't arrested him. I'm gonna love this. If you pull the case, people broke in my house the next day. That's how much danger I was. He's trying to say that that's where May 20th, 24th, the agent that called me back, where the one that told on me to that church, walks in Hampton Inn in Bedmore, 3 to 3:05. I came in and found out they're doing this for Savannah of all things. And I said if she was going to be mean to their women, I didn't care what happened to her. I was going to, and I heard she didn't even talk to them. Where would I, Jack Ship? Where would I? They act like you're dumb as a box of rocks. Where would I? I have went to that, been a member of that church since 2003. We visited it twice in 2011 just to find out where people are making up crazy shit. I didn't have their phone numbers. I didn't have their addresses. I didn't have anything. Where would I even see them? I didn't go to their church. They were blowing smoke up your ass. And the Vegas, using their son's death, that her father murdered her kid, showing off, it's just like some guy said he finds them disgusting. Using their child's name and their family's tragedy to kill people. It didn't offend them. They weren't grieving. It was 15 years later that they hunted me down and had nothing to do with them. How can you feel sorry for people that are nothing but murderers? You can't. And them reaching over where Strange just made something up on me just to get rid of me because they thought I caught Tim and Katie together. And it was Linda. Huh? Had nothing to do with her father murdering your kid. They just reached over and tried to pull more attention to themselves 6 months later. Had nothing to do with them. He could have called me a stripper, a prostitute, a robber, anything. Would it have had anything to do with them? No. It was 6 months later, and they just needed more attention. It's a thing of being a psychopath. Psychopaths, it's genetic. And this explains why Phil was speeding with their kid in the car, ran a stop sign into a semi and killed him. I listened to the psychiatrist online. The difference between a narcissist, a sociopath, and a psychopath. Psychopaths are born this way. If they do a PET scan where they put electrodes on your brain, the part of the brain that doesn't light up is feeling sympathy, empathy, or remorse. Only happy and enjoyment light up. It's like they're born stupid. That part of their brain don't work. And it's genetic. That's why Phil was speeding with his grandkid in the car. He's getting excitement and joy and making him laugh and showing off. That's why they can have me drug beat and raped and don't care. That's why they can have me almost murdered, because they want people's sympathy and attention to themselves. It's psychopaths. They're born serial killers. That lady's like, those people are so bad, they could have a dead body in the trunk, and an officer pulls them over for a traffic ticket, and they'll argue with the traffic ticket. And they got a dead body in the trunk. And they don't even show any kind of fear. Because they can't feel it. They can try to imitate sympathy or empathy, but it can't last for long because it's not real. Sociopaths are made by their environment. They're like the people that get in bad gangs and they do horrible stuff, but they still feel a little bad inside. Even though they're learned that it's sociably okay in their little groups. Even though it's not okay, but they know that and they still feel bad. No, they're all narcissists. They're all self-absorbed. And they only care about themselves. But the Vegas are psychopaths. They're the born serial killers. And that agent would know that. I'm going to vote this.